I found out that a person I would consider a friend, who we've had a good connection with, a lot of chats, a lot of deep chats, a lot of jokes, a lot of messages, has tried to get with a girl who I used to see, who I used to have a deep connection with, and we used to have a deep connection. We've had massive ups and downs in whatever you call it that we've had. We've had a weird relationship thingy, if you call it that. Like, say right now, she don't like me, but a few months ago she loved me. Before that, she hated me, and then a few months before that, loved me. Like, you know what I mean? And we got this weird connection. I guarantee in a few more months' time, she'll love me again for some reason. And he tried getting with this girl. So he's went, messaged her. They know each other a lot. They were considered friends, like good friends. Like, he'd always give lifts and everything and all that. And the funny thing is, she turned him down. So this is not to laugh at that person, but he got turned down. He got rejected. And on a real level, I just want you lot watching this video to almost question the friends or the people you kind of surround yourself with or consider friends, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times your friendships and what you have with people, especially men, you don't know if they'll snake you for a girl. And this is why it's good to have people who have options or are attractive or are doing well for themselves, because a lot of times they have options. And it's only recently that I've been able to get friends that would definitely have more options than me, or loads of options and loads of attractive women or whatever, that I understand that they're more real people, if that makes sense, instead of someone that'll snake you for some pussy. And this is nothing against the bloke, the guy. I don't really care that much. It's just a good story for the channel as well, because the stuff's done. And yeah, it's a weird shit, but on a real level, a lot of friendships end because your friend will snake you for a girl. Your friend will get with a girl that you once seen, or try to message a girl that you once seen. And it happens, man. It happens often. I don't know why it happens so often. I don't know what the thing is with it. Because personally, me, if I know one of my mates have been with that girl, I'm not touching them. I'm not touching them. And I don't know if it's to do with how much attention you get. It's probably to do with that, but I'm not touching them. You know what I mean? I'm leaving them alone. Why would I get with a girl that my friend's been with, that I consider a mate or whatever? And I don't know if you consider me a mate, but we've had a lot of things and a lot of conversation and stuff, and he's even stuck up for me in front of her, which was all about me and the situation that happened with me. He was even sticking up for me, which is a weird situation, you know, and it's just rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. But the game's a game, innit? At the end of the day, people go for a girl over a mate, and it's always fucking girls before mates now, hoes before bros. I won't call them a hoe, but you know what I mean? I won't call her a hoe, but on a real level, it's just a weird thing to hear. And this is why it's good to be good to people around you, if that makes sense, because you hear stuff. You hear stuff. When you got good relationships with everyone, you will hear something that's happened with this person, if that makes sense, because they'll tell you, because they trust you. And this is how I found out. And on a real level, I just want you lot to ask yourself this question. Would my friend, let's say you got some friends, would they snake you for a girl? And I've had friends in the past that I know would. For example, there was a night out that I've had with my mates a while ago. Like, this is one of the first times we went out, and one of my mates was like, she looked fit tonight. She looked really fit. She looked, oh, I would get with her and all that. And this was a girl that I used to see. And it's like, what the fuck, you know? And for example, they would snake me for some pussy. They'd snake me for a girl. And you don't want friends like that in your life, you know? You don't want friends like that, because that's going to hurt you long term. If they snake you for some pussy, imagine that. Imagine that. And a lot of friendships end because of women. And this is not like the woman's fault or whatever all the time. It's a lot of times it's the lack of intimacy that the man can get. They will latch on to anything that they get. And for example, me and this girl, we had a very high liking to each other, if that makes sense. Like a natural connection. You know, sometimes you have a connection with someone just naturally, like, you don't get it often, but sometimes you get a connection, and like you got that deep rooted connection somehow. Like, you get on amazing, and she wanted me to go on holiday and all this shit with her and all this stuff, and we had plans for stuff and all this, and then it was like she couldn't commit to it or whatever, couldn't commit to me, and all this is a while ago, and then arguments, and then getting back on good terms, texting again, then more arguments, and then it's like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? And it's one of these things where you just don't want your friend to do that, do you? You just don't want someone you consider a mate to do that. And it's just rubbed me a bit the wrong way now. I'm like thinking, what the fuck? Because I heard it days ago, and I was like, oh, it's all right, or so what? The thing's done. And it's like, come on, man, come on. You don't want friends like that. And I'm not going to speak to this person now, but on a real level, it's just a bit of a disrespectful and stinky thing to do, in it, don't you think? Don't you think, to get and try with a girl that, you know, someone who you've messaged a lot, spoke to a lot, laughed with a lot, told stories to each other, like, get on well, you consider me a friend, and you'll go for a girl that you've had a connection with, you know what I mean? And it's just a weird one, you know? And there's another one that I knew that he was going to try with as well, like he said, luckily he's a bit older and she wouldn't have went for him, but on a real level, it's a weird thing, man. It's a weird thing, and I just don't want you lot to get snaked for a girl and for some pussy. And this is not on a big scale, like, luckily nothing happened or whatever, because imagine if something happened, I would have been tapped. I've been tapped as fuck, you know? But this is not on a big scale. But let's say you have a friend who, let's say you get in a relationship with a girl, you got a friend that you consider a good friend, you've known him for years, and then they suddenly may be in a situation where they're together, or they may be chatting behind your back. You may leave them for a bit and they might build a connection. Before you know it, she's cheating on you with him. Before you know it, your friend slid in there, and now you've lost a friend and you've lost a girl. And it's one of these things, if anything, it's good on the girl in a sense, because she rejected it, which is quite a good quality in a sense. But obviously there's a lot of shit that has to work in that, and I'm not going back to it. But on a real level, it's just weird to hear stuff, you know? You don't want your friend to snake you, man. You need to watch it with women and your mates, you know? I want you lot to vet your mates with this stuff, because on a real level, that can't be happening. They're not a true mate if they're snake you for a girl. They're not a true mate if they're literally go and try to go for a girl you've been with, a girl you've seen. They're not a true mate, are they? You know? And it's one of these things, man. It's one of these things, like, you can't have a mate that'll do that to you, you know? And I've no friendship groups and people who's like get on with each other still after their mate's done that, and I just find it weird, you know? Because imagine another opportunity comes along, they might even try it with your girlfriend, and she may not want it, but you try it and be persistent. That's tapped, man. That's tapped. And it's just one of these little lessons that I learned, you know? And a lot of times the betrayal of friendships and stuff come because of that, you know? Because of a girl and all this stuff. And that's why it's important to have a good girl as well. Find a good girl that has standards. Find a girl that has standards for what she wants or who she wants, in a sense, because let's say this person wouldn't entertain that many different men, really. I don't think on a real level, like, only a certain type of person should entertain, if that makes sense, because they know how pretty they are and attractive they are and all that. So it's a weird one. And similar with me with women, like, there's only certain girls that I already entertain because I know what I want as a person and the connection, all this shit. But other people don't care, just want to get their body count out, you know what I mean? And yeah, just be careful, man. Be careful out there with this stuff, because you don't want your friend going along with a girl that you know, girl that you've been with, girl that you've seen, a girl that you got a connection with, because that's tapped. That's fucked, isn't it? And I just want you to ask yourself this question, and this is going to be a main takeaway from this video. Be careful and ask yourself this: would your mates snake you for a girl? Would your mates get with a different girl? Get with a girl that you've been with? Get with a girl that you've had a connection with? Would they? Will they? And just ask yourself that, and deeply ask yourself and think about that, because that means they're not a real friend, if that makes sense. Because they'll snake you for that, they'll snake you for money, probably, they'll snake you for all different areas, especially, and a lot of time that's a good indication. And that's going to be the overall message in this video. Hope you all got a lot of value. Like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.